Donald Trump has lost his mind. This is not news. You know this. But he thinks that through posting on Truth Social, he can terminate every single executive order that Joe Biden ever made because of the auto pen. Oh, don't forget, he literally replaced the photo of Joe Biden with a photo of the auto pen. Okay? That's how petty this guy is. But Trump is on Truth Social saying that every single executive order that Biden signed is being reversed. He's spamming the Trumplicans button. You know, I know, it's stupid, but he's like, because there's the MAGA civil war and MAGA is dying, right? And this isn't even my opinion. MAGA is dying, bro. He's trying to coin a new phrase, which is Trumplicans, right? Or T-publicans, right? Because the Republican Party is turning against him, so he's trying to reclaim them. It's fucking pathetic. He's posting weird Trump 2028 shit. And then he went on this insane rant where he said, to all airlines, I'm closing the airspace over Venezuela because I'm bombing them. Again, you can't do that at all. It doesn't matter, really. Laura Loomer declares that we need to deport every single Muslim in the United States and that we are officially at war with Arabs. Laura, do me a favor and shut your hideous cunt mouth, you plastic bitch. What else? And then we've got Stephen Miller's hideous wife on, what is it, CNN? Yeah, his hideous wife, Katie Miller, on CNN just getting fucking schooled left and right. I don't know who told Katie Miller that she should go on the news, but thank you. Thank you for telling her to go on the news, because she's so fucking stupid. She's like, well, can you tell me a single illegal order that has actually been given by Trump? And the other guy goes, yeah, sure, bombing those Venezuelan boats, completely fucking illegal. And here's the thing, guys. You need to have it queued up, shocked up, and locked in. You need to be able to give a list of all the illegal orders Trump has done, all right? Hi, Luigi. You need to be able to say, bombing those Venezuelan boats, completely illegal. You need to be saying, deploying the National Guard, completely illegal. Bombing Iran, completely illegal. Bombing Syria, bombing Lebanon, bombing Yemen. All of this shit, completely fucking illegal. You need to have that shit queued up because these people think you're stupid, so they'll ask you a question assuming that you don't know the answer to it. You need to preemptively have that shit locked in. If you hear a little bit of a barking, Luigi and Beans are playing right now. They're chasing each other around, but we're going to dive in. This is the Valenti VOD. I'm Chris Valenti. If you're new here, thanks for being here. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Quick reminder, this is real independent media. I'm a dirtbag leftist. I've never had a conversation with an advertiser, a billionaire, or a government. So if you do want to support the channel financially, like this Constitussy, there's a couple of ways you could send me money. You could buy merch, like the Democratic Socialist poster, the Constitussy mugs, or the Duty Calls merch line with tiny little Trump getting freaked out because he's about to get the shit kicked out of him by Uncle Sam. Sorry, my hair looks crazy. I rolled out of bed to make this video. But, yeah, so you could also click the thanks button to donate to me directly. You can click the join button to become a member, and then you can become a patron on Patreon. Other than that, I think we just dive into the video. Please forgive the fucking bird's nest of a hair. It's Saturday after Thanksgiving. Go fuck yourself. Okay. So, we're going to start off with, he made a couple of weird posts beforehand, but we're going to start off with this one here. So Trump starts and he goes, any document signed by Sleepy Joe Biden with the auto pen, which was approximately 92% of them, is hereby terminated and of no further force or effect. The auto pen is not allowed to be used if approval is not specifically given by the President of the United States. The radical left lunatics circling Biden are on the beautiful Resolute desk in the Oval Office took the presidency away from him. I am hereby canceling all executive orders and anything else that was not directly signed by crooked Joe Biden. Because the people who operated the auto pen did so illegally. Joe Biden was not involved in the auto pen process, and if he says he was, he will be brought up on charges of perjury. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Okay, so a couple of things. One, this tweet means nothing. He can't do that. Like, actually, this time, that did nothing. He can't just reverse executive orders like that. That's not how that fucking works. He can pretend he did, and your dumbest fucking MAGA family member will think that it's true, but no, he can't do that. And then the second thing I want to point out is saying that he's going to bring up charges of perjury is hilarious because, Donald, you have perjured yourself so many times. If you want to light this candle, go ahead. Here's my thing. Throw Joe Biden in prison. I couldn't give less of a fuck, but throw him in prison for funding Israel's genocide. Don't throw them in prison for perjury. If you want to light this candle of throwing people in prison for perjury, Donald, you're going to spend the rest of your fucking days beyond prison cells. In a prison cell, behind bars. 100%. Brother, you lie nonstop. You lie nonstop under oath. I've seen videos of you being investigated about Jeffrey Epstein where you fucking lie. Jesus Christ. Okay, so that's one. Don't worry. I've got more for you. And then he made a land pass, or this is probably AI generated, but America the Beautiful, the National Parks and Recreational Lands Pass, an annual pass with George Washington and Donald Trump. Jesus Christ. And now look, he's doing that thing. Remember when I told you that Zoran took him to the picture of FDR and got Trump to glaze FDR? Now he has to make himself seem better than FDR. 30-year mortgage, 50-year mortgage. Donald, the 50-year mortgage plan is the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life, to the point where your own fucking supporters think it's insane. You do understand average home buyers are now 51 years old? So you expect me to pay off my house when I'm 101 years old and live literally the entirety of my life as a debt slave? That's what you think? Now, here's the thing. Donald doesn't understand that. Donald doesn't understand what a mortgage is, because Donald's never had to pay a mortgage. He commits mortgage fraud left and right. We know this. He committed mortgage fraud in Mar-a-Lago. He's never paid for anything. We're talking about a Trump, a family of inferior rats. This AI-generated fucking slop picture of him. Trump 2028, yes. Trumplicans! Trumplicans! Ooh. All right, so we got this. This is some stupid shit about Honduras, because he's pissed that his pick, Tito Asfora, isn't fucking winning. But here, I'll read it for you. Democracy is on trial in the coming elections in the beautiful country of Honduras on November 30th. Will Maduro and his narco-terrorists take over another country? I really don't give a fuck about this one. That's not the juice. I'm going to give you the juice. Okay. So we've got this one. To all airlines, pilots, drug dealers, and human traffickers, please consider the airspace above and surrounding Venezuela to be closed in its entirety. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President DJT. What I find funny about this is, like, he thinks this is threatening, but, like, guys, I think he's trying to warn his buddies. I think he's trying to warn his friends. Think about it. To all airlines, pilots, drug dealers, and human traffickers. Well, brother, we know that you love airlines, pilots, drug dealers, and human traffickers. You fucking are one of them. Like, you are all of these things, bro. You got, like, your private jets and all of your billionaire friends who are flying in their own airlines. You've got all of these, you talk about how handsome all these pilots are. You're best friends with all these drug dealers, to the point where you just fucking pardoned one of the worst drug dealers in, like, American history. And you yourself are a human trafficker, so this makes sense. But this is crazy, by the way, for him to think that he has the authority to just close down the airspace over an entire nation. Oh, Jesus. Then he's talking about falling drug prices, which none of that is true. But what is important is that second part here, where it says Trump declared Venezuelan airspace closed. He absolutely cannot do that, but he has begun the campaign of, just killing as many people as possible. As we know, Trump said yesterday, it was like the ground invasion is about to begin. We are invading. We got 15,000 Marines ready to go. We got 12 warships, a nuclear-powered submarine, a couple of B-52 stratofortresses. We're fully... It's not even that we're invading Venezuela. We are, but we're also just going to destroy it. We're just destroying Venezuela. We're going to murder tens of thousands of people. We're harvesting their oil, and that's not an opinion. Don't forget, they literally said it on Fox News. They're like, yeah, no, there's a lot of oil in Venezuela. We're going to get the oil. This is going to be a field day for ExxonMobil. This is for oil, so GI, you're about to go fight and die in a jungle for oil. If you have a family member in the military, they're going to go fight and die for oil. Trump never cared about them, never cared about you. I don't, if you needed me to tell you that, you're already a fucking idiot, and you're probably not going to believe me in the first place, so it doesn't really matter. All right, now we're going to move to Laura Loomer. Laura Loomer says, I don't think people realize what has happened. This is because of the shooting. I don't think people realize what has happened. We are officially at war with Islam. Islam declared war on U.S. service members on U.S. soil. The Secretary of War should respond by ordering military-style raids on every single mosque in America in a joint operation with the Department of Homeland Security to mass deport every single non-citizen Muslim in our country. We are at war with Islam. U.S. soldiers are being murdered on American soil by Muslims who are killing in the name of Islam. Americans should prepare accordingly. Buy ammo. This is just the beginning. And no, this isn't hyperbole. Over 72,000 Afghan immigrants were airdropped all over the U.S. in 2021. They are ticking time bombs waiting to explode. We must prepare to see combat. We must prepare to combat these combatants who are likely planning more ambush-style attacks, acts of jihad on service members and innocent Americans. Every devout Muslim is a foot soldier for Islam. The Trump regime should respond accordingly. And then I gave her a nice response. I said, shut your festering cunt mouth. So this entire post is just blatant Islamophobia. No, Muslims are not here to kill you. If you think that I can't help you, you have fucking brain worms. You are just propagandized into thinking that every brown person who wears a hijab is actually hiding a fucking suicide vest underneath their shirt. That's you're stupid and inferior. And also, Laura Loomer, you are one of the most hideous cunts I've ever seen in my entire life. This is the best photo of you, and you actually look like the fucking Crimson Chin. Also, you sucked Donald's crunchy dick. I know this. We all know this. For a while there, you were sucking Donald's dick. That's how you got so fucking close to him, because you're a disgusting $5 trailer park whore. Okay? Horror Loomer, you fucking dirty bitch. All right, so now, speaking of dirty bitches, we're gonna watch Stephen Miller's fucking evil cunt wife on CNN, who, by the way, fucked Elon Musk while Stephen Miller was watching, because Stephen Miller is a bald Jewish Nazi cuck who watches his wife get plowed by King Autism Elon fucking Musk, who I'm surprised his dick even works.
In the end, I want to go back to something that Bakari said. He said that those orders that were given of the drug boats in Venezuela were illegal. Can you cite those statutes, please?
Yes, because it's actually called the Due Process Clause of the United States of America. Because can you point to one of those boats that actually had drugs on them? Do you know that? Do you know about the Trinidadians who were killed innocently, who were just fishermen?
Thank you.
Actually
Yeah, people don't know this. One of those boats wasn't even from Venezuela. It was a confirmed fishing boat from Trinidad and Tobago. Confirmed fishing boat from Trinidad and Tobago.
Those fishermen without due process. So the answer to the question is yes. I can cite the Constitution, just as Scott did.
If you go and say that those were members of Al-Qaeda or ISIS coming to our shores with enough drugs or enough ammunition to
But they're not, and they weren't.
Kill 1,000, 100,000 Americans, wouldn't you expect our commander-in-chief to take action to stop that?
I love how she moved the goalpost. Can you even cite the statute that makes it illegal? Because, yeah, here it is. She goes, well, wouldn't you want our commander-in-chief to be violating the law?
That's what's happening here. That is what's happened, by the way. That's what happens in every war zone, whether you go to Iraq, Afghanistan, Iran, Somalia. Go there. Let's talk about it.
Give me one name of one individual that you can compare to Al-Qaeda coming through that had enough fentanyl to kill all these Americans. Can you name one?
Let's go to what these drug boats are talking about, which is that we are actively ensuring that the war on drugs that we've been doing for 50 years,
which every single American understands the war on drugs was a fucking ruse.
Has not worked.
It was a way for the CIA to smuggle in crack cocaine and distribute it into low poverty-stricken areas, black and brown communities, so that more black and brown people would get higher charges for the crack cocaine instead of the powder cocaine, which was so expensive that only the rich white people would get it. Where you'd get like, I don't know, like a 50 bag of powder cocaine, and it would be like, I don't even know, like a couple of months in prison, versus the same amount of the crack cocaine, which was dirt cheap, that would get you thrown in prison for fucking years. The entire point of the war on drugs was to throw black and brown people disproportionately in prison and provide us with a fucking slave population, because slavery is legal if you are in prison. If you don't believe me, look up the 13th Amendment. That's the amendment that abolished slavery unless you are thrown in prison. That is the words. That is the verbiage. It was intentional language.
One single day.
Yeah, right. We can agree on that.
It hasn't been successful one day. So wouldn't you want our country to try something different? You talked about elections.
Try something different. You're talking about extrajudicial executions. You're talking about vaporizing fishermen without any evidence that they have drugs. And even if you did have the evidence that they did have drugs, it would still be illegal to annihilate them. You send in the Coast Guard, you board the ship, you arrest them, you extradite them, you charge them, and you either throw them in prison or you deport them back to their fucking nation.
Why they're important. In 2024, President Trump won and beat Kamala Harris under stopping the war on drugs, under stopping the entrance of illegal drugs into our country, under stopping the surge of illegal immigration into our country, and that's exactly what
Can I just put a fine point on this?
Yeah,
just really quickly. I think that my point maybe differs from yours, which is fine. But I believe that individuals deserve some modicum of due process, and I think that that is something that's enshrined in our Constitution. If you have some facts that you wanted to tell the audience tonight about the individuals that you know that were brought in or bringing in, and maybe if we arrested them, maybe if we actually saw what was going on, maybe if there wasn't an ulterior motive. Because
dude, that's the thing. For your point that you're making, cunt, if we were just arresting these people, your point would be easier. It'd be easier to sell because maybe you'd have some evidence to point to the fact that there are drugs. I don't know. None of us know, because you keep killing them. You keep bombing them. Even if there were drugs, now it's vaporized because you are hitting them with a fucking thermobaric hellfire missile, for fuck's sake.
I do know, and I think you know this as well, that there were innocent Trinidadians who were just on a fishing boat who died as a result of that. I know that.
Look at her cunt grin. Dude, you know, I will tell you this. This is proof that there is someone for everyone, because this evil, malicious cunt of a woman is perfect for Stephen Miller. She also looks just like him. Like, is this Stephen Miller in drag?
They're military members that swore an oath to this country who now have a problem with that. So I
think you're cherry-picking facts.
Hold on, the other part is that, I mean, we also know that the United States did have some of these people in custody, and rather than actually try them, which we have done in the past, we let them go. We also don't know, they've never said explicitly what drugs are being carried on these boats, but
we know that none of it is fentanyl, because literally not a single microgram of fentanyl has ever come to the United States through Venezuela. It all comes from Mexico from China to Mexico and smuggled by Americans from the southern border. 90% of fentanyl is smuggled in by American citizens, bro. Because we get less scrutiny. We can cross the border back and forth. We're Americans. We have paperwork. So you get a good American who's down for a little bit of the funk. They grab a whole bunch of guns and they go down to Mexico. They trade the guns for the fent and they smuggle it back over. That's the way of the world, bro. If you don't want that to happen, maybe Americans in Texas should stop fucking selling helicopters and Vulcan miniguns to the fucking cartels.
But the fentanyl, we know, is not coming from Venezuela.
It's not
but
from Venezuela.
The issue here
Thank you. Thank God they said that.
is about the legality and about what happens when there is a system that doesn't contemplate whether things are legal or not. And the British seem to think that there might be things in our actions in the Caribbean that are illegal. We've had a top military officer.
Yeah, dude, the British are so concerned that what we're doing is illegal that they have cut intelligence sharing with us. Because the British are worried that when Trump and his regime are over, they're all going to get charged with war crimes for working alongside the fucking Americans. Oh my God.
From his post, retired years early. So there are some indications here that people are not comfortable with the legality of what's going on.
And we got more. We got more here.
To see J.D. Vance, Marco Rubio. There are many. I think President Trump has made it very clear he'd like to see J.D. Vance, Marco Rubio. There are many people who can speak eloquently to what the MAGA base is about, which is growing our economy, stopping illegal immigration, putting Americans first, which is what Make America Great Again means, is Americans first.
No, it doesn't. No, America first would mean that, and that is Nick Fuentes' slogan, which he has stolen to sort of Adolf Führer. That's what America first means to him. But no, Make America Great Again never meant America first. Never once. It did mean make Israel first, but it meant to regress American society. That's why the word again was there at the tail end. Make America Great Again was about going back in time to an era where we were blatantly racist, blatantly Islamophobic. We had segregation. Women could not get jobs. You could just fucking smack your wife. That's what it always meant, and that's why they used the word again. They were appeasing to the 50, 60-year-old like scumbag pieces of shit in your life that genuinely want to go back in time before the white man was disenfranchised. That's what it fucking meant. And you are fighting tooth and nail desperately to prevent your entire movement from collapsing so that your own cultists have to choose between scattering to the wind and being gobbled up by people like me, genuine populists who are going to give them actual ideology that would make their life better, or scattering to the next cult, which is America First under Nick Fuentes, a gay fucking twink Mexican pretending to be an American Nazi. Don't forget, Nick Fuentes literally got his dick sucked by Destiny, that liberal fucking Twitch streamer, whatever the fuck, that goddamn loser. He's literally Mexican, and he role plays as an American patriot. Who, by the way, Nick Fuentes has said verbatim, I hate poor people, I love the rich. Okay? This guy doesn't give a fuck about you. He's not one of you. He's also worth more than you'll ever be worth.
And Americans doing what we can do to grow and live in the best country in the world. But I want to go back to Marjorie Taylor Greene for a second. Just because she left the party isn't indicative of some larger MAGA revolt. And
yes, it is. Yes, it is. She was one of your greatest champions. Yes, it the fuck is. You're coping. Copium. She's straight coping. She's coping. She's coping. She's coping.
President Trump's grasp on the MAGA movement. She is someone who blew up his phone multiple times a day, acting like she was the center of the universe and main character syndrome, when in reality, President Trump's job is not member maintenance and dealing with a specific member of Congress. He is the leader of the free world who has a lot more on his plate than returning Marjorie Taylor Greene's calls back every 5 minutes.
No, she was texting him saying, why won't you release the Epstein files? And then he crashed the fuck out at her and sent her a spam text in all caps that said, the Jeffrey Epstein hoax. Oh! We got more.
Not say, hey, Tucker, unacceptable. Don't do that.
It's not up to you or myself.
This is about Nick Fuentes. This is about Nick Fuentes.
To police speech in our country.
I mean, shouldn't it be up to J.D. Vance to say this is not part of our movement?
Are you okay? Are you okay with Nick Fuentes?
Here we go. I'm a Jew. Do you want to go there? And let's say this.
Yeah, I just.
Who the fuck asked if you were Jewish? I love when they fucking do this, bro. They just randomly throw it. I'm Jewish, by the way! Like, dude, no one gives a fuck.
The question was yes or no.
Yes, I'm okay.
Are you okay with
If
Nick
Nick
Fuentes?
Fuentes wants to be able to speak freely in our country, he has every right.
Yo, you're a fucking cuck. You're a cuck. If any Jew is okay with Nick Fuentes, you're not a Jew, bro. You're not a Jew. I mean, you're okay with Nazism. You're okay with Nazism. You're okay with Nazis as a Jew? Okay, so that means you're not a Jew. You don't believe in any of the beliefs. You are just wrapping yourself in the Jewish identity for some sort of political gain. If you actually don't give a fuck about Nazis and you're a Jew, bullshit, you're not a Jew then.
To do so. Do I agree with his views? Do I think that they should become
I
mainstream?
just asked a yes or no question.
Absolutely not.
But hold on.
Look at how fucking defensive she's getting. Are you gonna cry, you hideous cunt?
I really want to go back to
This
this
isn't
for 1 second.
but this isn't about whether he can speak freely. It's about whether someone like Tucker Carlson, who is a very powerful force in the conservative movement.
You host people on your show all the time who call my husband and myself a Nazi.
That's because you and your husband are fucking Nazis, cunt.
How is that any different from Tucker Carlson going on
Nick Fuentes
having Tucker Carlson on his show? It's not different.
He's actually
anti-Semitic. He's an anti-Semite.
a Hitler admirer. Nick Fuentes is actually a Hitler
But he literally
admirer.
is not a good
That is
human
a
being.
different
What are we
thing.
talking
Excuse me, you have Jennifer Welch on your show very often, and you've never pushed back as she has called my husband a white nationalist.
He is a white nationalist. Your husband is a white nationalist. Your husband is a white nationalist, you dirty fucking bitch.
That is no different than Nick Fuentes going on Tucker Carlson's show. It's not, and you should admit it.
Well, hold on. Wait, hold on.
Oh my God, she's shaking. Holy fuck, dude, she's actually shaking. Look at her lips. She's actually fucking shaking.
Well, hold on. Wait, hold on. How
Bro, she's shaking with rage.
is it anything similar? It's not remotely similar at all. Nick Fuentes sits around and says that he likes Hitler. How is that
what does
similar
Katie have to do with it? What does she have to do with
hold
it?
on.
She has nothing to do with it. Literally
Scott,
nothing.
Scott,
Shut the fuck up, Scott, you goddamn cuck. I fucking hate this cracker.
Katie is the person who just said to me that it is comparable to say that Nick Fuentes, who is literally
A Nazi!
neo-Nazi, is the same as somebody, a liberal, who has an opinion who is not a neo-Nazi.
A hateful
they are
opinion.
not
A hateful opinion.
the same.
How do you want? Excuse me.
Hold
Just
on.
let's go back to
They
this
are
point one more
not.
Dude, she cannot let this woman speak, and it's because she's black. She will not let this woman speak because she's black.
time.
But
Nick
Katie,
Fuentes
it is
can espouse an
not
opinion on
the
Tucker Carlson's
same-
show,
it is not the
and
same
he didn't push
thing.
back the same way you didn't push
Katie.
back when someone called someone in
Okay,
my family
hold
a
on a
Nazi.
second.
It's not.
That's because your family members are fucking Nazis, bitch. Cry about it. Cope, mauled, and seethe, you Nazi cunt.
Hold on a
different,
second.
Abby. It's not.
If someone comes on this show and says, I love Hitler and I admire what he did, they would never, first of all, I would never invite them on the show and they would never be invited back. So those two things are
But yet
not
you've gone on Jennifer
the
Welch's
same
podcast. It's the same thing.
They
It's
are
the same
not
thing.
Oh, it's the same thing?
What I think
okay?
is so. What I
It's the same thing. Got it, you dirty fucking cunt.
What I think
okay?
is so. What I find
Listen,
so.
but Katie, but hold on, Katie.
No, we
do
can
you
agree to
believe that
disagree.
Jennifer Welch has a right to say something negative about your husband?
The same way Nick Fuentes has the
but
right
hold
to
on.
say what he wants
so
to
you
say.
think
No
Nick,
difference.
you think that it's okay? Hold on. Do you think it is okay for Jennifer Welch? Is she allowed to say something negative about your husband?
Absolutely, and it's your job as a moderator then to push back.
So that's the first thing.
It's the same way you're asking Tucker Carlson to push back against Nick Fuentes.
But hold on, Nick Fuentes.
Is it not different?
Nick Fuentes is espousing, he's not describing someone else as a Nazi. He is saying, I admire Nazis. You don't think that's a different thing?
No, Nick has also said, I am a Nazi. He said, I am a Nazi. I love Hitler. I hate Jews. These are all direct quotes from Nick Fuentes.
Do you believe my husband's a Nazi? You allow someone on your
She can't even answer the fucking question. She has to answer the question with another question because she's backed into a corner.
Do you think those things are different or not?
I don't think anybody around
it's the same equitable comparison
listen,
for Nick Fuentes to go on Tucker Carlson's show as you to have people to have on your show.
You are making a comparison of two things that are not in any way the same. I acknowledge that and listen, when
it's
people
happened more than once, Abby.
But hold on.
At one point, it's a common occurrence.
When people say their opinions, I don't endorse them, but I also am not responsible for their opinions.
So doesn't that apply to Tucker Carlson?
That is different from a person themselves describing themselves as a hate monger.
Is Tucker Carlson responsible for Nick Fuentes' opinions?
But hold on a second. I am also not a Republican Party official or a Democrat Party official.
Neither is
and
Tucker
so I'm
Carlson.
asking you.
Yo, she's doing a terrible job. If I'm being honest, she's doing a terrible fucking job. Get me on the stage next to this hideous cunt. I'll get thrown out of the fucking room, guaranteed.
About you as a Republican and who you think is the leader of your party, right?
Right
and
now it's President Donald Trump.
And I'm asking your opinion, okay? If you think that J.D. Vance is that person, do you think that he should be at a table and nodding along with Nick Fuentes, yes or no?
I don't believe J.D. Vance has ever sat and nodded along with Nick
He
Fuentes.
has. He has. Donald Trump and J.D. Vance had Nick Fuentes and Kanye West for dinner at Mar-a-Lago a while back, but yeah, no, they have. Let's see. We got a little bit more here.
Yes or no?
I don't believe J.D. Vance has ever sat and nodded along with Nick Fuentes.
Do you think that Tucker Carlson? Do you think it is okay for J.D. Vance to think it's okay for Tucker Carlson to sit and nod along with?
I think it's okay for Tucker Carlson to have Nick Fuentes on the show the same way you have people on your show who espouse similar views.
Well, hold on, that's all I asked you, and we can just leave it at that. Because at the end of the day, that is what the Republican Party has to decide. Do they care whether or not someone who has a loud voice in their party is bringing on somebody who is encouraging neo-Nazism?
Wait,
and if you think that is okay,
let's go back to the murder of Charlie Kirk.
Dude, it's funny because they have to, like, the Republicans have to run defense for Nick Fuentes because they're watching their little sheep flock to him, right? And they're so scared that if Nick labels them as an enemy, they're going to lose literally all of their voting power. And they're right. They're right. You're going to lose all of your power because Nick Fuentes is unironically the new leader of the fucking Republican Party.
Wait, I want to finish this.
Please do.
I was President Trump's immigration spokesperson in the first term.
Ew.
I have been saying this on the record since we shut down the government to build the wall back in 2018. We are removing every single illegal alien that's in this country. And I would say a majority of those who have been removed have had serious violent crimes.
You're wrong.
Not true.
Yep, thank you. You're just wrong. The overwhelming majority of these people, like literally, like I'm pretty sure it's like 70 to 80% of the people you have deported don't even have a criminal record, let alone a violent criminal record.
That's not true. I hope you weren't a spokesperson saying that.
That is actually
that's false.
Today in the New Yorker,
demonstrably false.
Today in the New Yorker,
based on DHS's own data, a majority of the people that they've detained have not had violent criminal records
that have been removed.
They have not. They have not had violent criminal records.
Dude, she just immediately retreats when she's faced with the facts, and it's because they don't use facts on Fox News. And Katie is always on Fox News, and she's assuming that they're just going to let her run with whatever bullshit she comes up with. And it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Anyway, that's all I got for you today. Just absolute craziness. I mean, Trump going, we're going to close the airspace over Venezuela because I'm bombing them. Also, anything Joe Biden did, we're reversing it. No longer, it doesn't apply. Any executive orders don't apply. And then Laura Loomer saying we're at war with Islam. Shut the fuck up. Shut your festering cunt mouth, you plastic bitch. And then we've got evil, hideous, raunchy cunt Katie Miller on CNN defending Nick Fuentes, despite the fact that Katie Miller and her husband are both Jewish Nazis. I hope you don't think that they're gonna leave you as well. Like, you're not going to be one of the good ones. When the Nazis rise, you're on the list, Katie. And so is your bald Jewish Nazi husband. Doesn't matter if you're a Jewish Nazi, that first superlative overpowers the second one. In their eyes, all you are is Jewish. That's all a Nazi's ever gonna fucking see, sweetheart. And you wanna know why I know that? I mean, Albert Einstein was German. He could have joined the Nazi party, but he also knew, I'm Jewish, I gotta get the fuck out of here. And he did. And then the Germans said, we're not gonna use any Jewish science. And then they ended up losing the war because we got the fucking nukes before they did. But like, yo, they don't care if you're on their side. You created a Nazi monster, and that monster is growing in power. And that monster doesn't give a shit that you created it because you're Jewish. And the monster is a Nazi. Congratulations. The leopards are eating your fucking face. I'm Chris Valenti. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. It costs you nothing, and it helps me immensely. Do me one last favor. Click that video right over there. It's a banger, and I know bangers.